I think his greatest value lies in basically Crosby, Malkin insurance. If one of those gets hurt, he could be a first or second line center.
I
But
can't believe you would even say those words.
I know,
Why?
I know, I
Why
don't
did
want
you
to
put
jinx
that
it.
evil out into this
I
world?
know, I
I
know.
can't.
It's
I
it's
can't. I can't. Just you go make an offer to the hockey gods, okay? Because I am scared now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Donut Bag, part of the Pulse Podcast Network and the PodHub Network. In this episode, I talked to Leah Blasko from the Pensblog about the latest on the Penguins. The Donut Bag starts right now. Penguins have won 9 of 10, and everything is right in the world, maybe. With me to talk about it is Leah Blasko. She is at Leah on Twitter. She is from the Pens blog. How you doing? Welcome back.
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say everything is right in the world.
No, we have nothing to talk about. This is going to be a very short conversation. Everything is perfect. Everything's fine.
No, it's not. I'm
um,
sorry. Aston Reese is hurt. Jack Johnson still is gainfully employed.
oh no, there is way too much to talk about. Yeah. I mean, it looked like Aston Reese got hurt on that fight.
Oh, he definitely
did. Is he hurt? I mean, I saw he got placed on injury reserve. Did he hurt his hand?
That's my assumption, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really see anything exact on it, but that looks like exactly what happened. So that stinks because wasn't he playing pretty well?
Oh yeah, I was very, very pleased with his play, and I was and am very bummed that he's out, and I'm also bummed that they did not call up Teddy Bluger to replace him, and instead they went with Garrett Wilson. I get it because Wilkes-Barre Scranton actually has to win hockey games too at some point, but I'd really I think that Bluger is ready, and it's I think he's almost. There are certain times where I watch him play where I'm just like, I don't think you belong here anymore. And I know Ethan Prow doesn't belong there anymore, but we had no defensemen, so they got defensemen, and now we have too many defensemen, so that defenseman's not going to get to play in the NHL for a while yet, which is probably for the better, but still.
Well, let's talk about defensemen. So they get Pettersson and
the God, as we call him.
My
Pettersson, the God.
He might be. He's been awesome. And they pair him with Jack Johnson. And have they made Jack Johnson better? Or can I get you to say anything nice about Jack Johnson?
Oh, no. Pettersson is the only thing that keeps Jack Johnson from hemorrhaging shots every single time he steps on the ice. I have no idea how he's doing it, and he's a miracle worker, and I love him, and he is perfect, and he needs to keep doing that forever and ever. Amen.
It's like one of those Hallmark Christmas movies where the two people get paired together and they're soulmates and they live happily ever after. It's like Pettersson and Johnson together are well, I mean, they're a decent third pair. Let's put it that way.
I would love to see Pettersson get more minutes. The only thing that I'm fine with him not giving him more minutes because he is dragging the carcass that is Jack Johnson around. So, and he's doing a good job. So there's numbers here. The guy, our editor at the Pensblog, G, had some great insights on Pettersson and Johnson by the numbers, and I will share them with you because they are just absolutely bananas. They're like kooky. Well, without Pettersson, Jack Johnson was still like a 40 Corsi for. Like, it was not good. He was just caved in. But in 10 minutes and 54 seconds of 5-on-5 ice time, Pettersson was on the ice for 13 shots attempts for and 4 against, which is a 76% share, which is a team high. He was on the ice for 9 scoring chances for, just 2 against, saw 3 high danger scoring chances for, and 0 against. Of that, he played 9 minutes and 19 seconds with Jack Johnson. With Jack Johnson, he was a 78% shot attempt share, which is good. But what's hilarious is that in the 5 minutes away from Pettersson, Jack Johnson was out attempted 3-4 and 12 against. That is actually impressive. That is actually impressive.
Are you familiar with the movie Weekend at Bernie's?
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like Jack Johnson's dead and Pettersson's just dragging him all over the ice and still trying to. It's
not even that. See, like, and I will be 100% honest. You know what? There is a very good chance Jack Johnson could be an NHL player on a different NHL team. He is just slower than a freaking iceberg. Yeah. And there's a reason why you can't ever, and I mean never, and I don't know why they even tried this once, put Jack Johnson and Olli Mata on the ice at the same time. Like, literally, that is the thing nightmares are made of. Olli Mata is one of my favorites. I love him to death, but he is not a fast guy. And Jack Johnson needs somebody who's going to come over and at least be like, a normal speed, because otherwise it's just bad. Ollie, when he's on, he reads angles really well, so he doesn't need to be fast, and that's something that he has perfected over the years. And when he's at his best, that's what he's doing, and that's what makes him such a good complement to players that are more offensive in nature. But when he's with Jack Johnson, who is also slow and is terrible defensively, it is just like tying an anchor to his skate and he sinks to the bottom.
Okay, so Justin Schultz started skating again. He lives! Back. He is risen. He'll be back probably next month. Okay.
Yeah, it's penciled for some point in February is the idea. So stretch run, I would be fine with them holding him out longer as opposed to sooner and bringing him in late February, unless there's an injury to somebody else.
But then what do they do? I mean, they'll have 9 defensemen, right?
They do. They're going to trade Chad Ruedel for sure. There's no way that guy is still on this team in March. And I say that having watched him twice in the last 5 days. So I watched the Wilkes-Barre game on AHL TV on Friday night, and I was there in Wilkes-Barre on Saturday. And he was terrible in both games. He was absolutely horrible in the game on Saturday night that I was at. He, at one point, he and the other defenseman went behind the net. The F3 caught the first trailer, but the other guys had gone for a change. So there were only 3 of them down deep. And so the F2, the next wave came in from the opposite end of the ice. Well, I guess that would be like the defenseman. Whoever it was, he was the late trailer. He came in and there was nobody in front of the net. And one of them turned around and tried to help Jari, but literally ended up just making it worse. And it was just awful. It was just like this comedy of errors. And I was like, you don't both need to go behind the net. One of you stays there and one of you has to stay and watch the play develop. Like, what are you doing? And it was just such a decision-making thing. And I feel bad because I think the only reason he's having that struggle or is struggling at all is because he hasn't played since Nam.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact of the matter is, he is the worst defenseman on the Pittsburgh team right now. Not named Jack Johnson, but he's the worst defenseman that they could move. So I've been racking my brains for different options. They could just move him for some picks. They could move him for like some prospects to help bolster Wilkes-Barre. They could move him for, whatever. There's a lot of options out there. One option that seems interesting to me is if they do decide to move Brassard, which is a thing that some people think they should do. I'm kind of up in the air. Brassard has not been good. It has not worked. But it hasn't been bad, if that makes any sense. So,
Well,
what?
has it not been bad? Because, I mean, it just, he has no chemistry with Kessel.
Well, it's not a chemistry thing. Or no, that's not it. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not knocking his chemistry. I'm not knocking his offensive production. I think that both of those are not good. But he is not like a black hole when he goes out there most of the time. You know what I mean? It's not like he is awful. And no, he doesn't have any chemistry with Kessel, which, yes, it does cause a problem. And the fact that Malkin doesn't really have chemistry with anyone else up there right now, it's not really working. But that being said, I mean, there's flashes. It's there. He's still a good player. And why would you trade something when it has the least amount of value it's going to have? Because, at this point, he hasn't looked good here. So you're not going to get anything good for him. And you're just going to be out a third-line center, which I think they'll be able to address this summer, at least partially internally. But that's besides the point.
I think his greatest value lies in basically Crosby, Malkin, insurance. If one of those gets hurt, he could be a first or second line center.
I can't believe you would even say those words.
I know.
Why did you put that evil out into this world?
I know.
I can't. Just you go make an offer to the hockey gods, okay? Because I am scared now.
I will. I have another thought too, and I'm going to say it anyway. What the hell? They're probably going to trade Brassard, and the minute they trade Brassard, somebody's getting hurt. I just have that feeling. But anyway, I know that's a terrible, terrible thought. I'm sorry. But
what are they going to trade him for? What are they going to how is it going to be worth it for them? What are they going to get?
I mean, you just have to eat that. There's they're not going to get what they gave up for him. So
and what they gave up for him was because they were getting an extra year. This was a pure rental, and it doesn't matter. It at this point, it makes no sense to me to trade him. It makes sense to trade Chad Rubiel. He has another year left on his contract. He deserves to go play hockey somewhere because Pettersson and Riikola have both had their moments. Alexiak, he's had his moments. They've all had moments where they've looked good. And Ruedel is not going to pass all of them up because one of those three guys is already going to be sitting on the bench because Justin Schultz is going to come back.
I don't know what they would trade for him or what they would need, but what about Sheahan being the third line center? Is that the craziest idea?
No, he is not the third line center. If there is a third line center, it is already in the team's system, and his name is Teddy Bluger. Trust me. At least with what they have now, they might go in and upgrade, but I do genuinely think that he makes the team next year. He should be on the team right now. If they didn't have Matt Cullen, he would be. And I don't think it would be terrible. Teddy's tenacious. Teddy he plays